period, 3-2 for the Soviets.
Foster, I've just been informed that we are experiencing some video losses, and they're being experienced in our signal between Moscow and London, and we apologize to you for the interruption at home.
Ready for the face-off in the Soviet zone. Goes back on the wing. A roller. Mikhailov lost it, but the Soviets come in on a rush. Here's a chance in front of the net as Gusev was bowled over as White took him right out of the play. Peter Mahovlich carries back at center ice. He ran into Luchenko, was knocked over. Luchenko carries to safety back of the Soviet goal. Here's a shot by Stapleton, right on, right in front for Gilbert. It hit a skate. Bill White goes in for a shot, it's blocked. Now another one by Rattel. Goes to Gilbert, right in front. And Tretjak stopped that one. To Gankov. Cleared to Mishikov. Over on the right side to Harlamov. Harlamov goes again. Here's a shot. Right, stop that one. As the crowd are in a tremendous uproar as they go back and forth here with lightning speed. Change of players.
Well, Foster, this period so far with just 8 minutes gone by is just wide open hockey. And this is just a totally different game from what we've seen in that first period, which was interrupted almost every 30 seconds or so with a penalty.
Soviets leading 3-2, 12-11 left in the second period. Petrov was checked, but gets that puck again in the Canadian zone, shot it back to the net. Mihailov is beaten to it by Bergman. Bergman, number 2, goes back to the Canadian goal, Dryden in the net. Give it to Phil Esposito, who's coming up with Poirier and Frank Mahovlich. He got as far as the Soviet line, couldn't get any farther. A lob pass to Mihailov, going in on that left wing. He passed, and it's intercepted. Park, rushing back on the right side, goes over the line with Phil Esposito. Park shoots one wide. Poirier back to Mahovlich. Phil Esposito was dumped on the play, and Park recovers at center ice with Mahovlich going in on the left side, centered it, and the pass is knocked down. A three-man break for the Soviets. Petrov got the pass, gets the return, and Klinov was bowled over on the play. Canada coming back, Poirier and Mahovlich right in, and the shot was grabbed by Tretjak. And you don't try and want any closer than that. Tretjak was knocked right over on the play.
The best save of the night by either goaltender. How Tretjak stopped this puck off Ivan Cornelier, I don't know. He didn't catch it in the glove. He takes it up in his forearm. A tremendous save by Tretjak.
11:07 left in the second period. Soviets 3, Canada 2. Canada playing every man up. And there has been a penalty in this second period. Quite a different story from the first. They've settled down to straight hockey. Addison is covered on the board. And they're playing desperation hockey at this stage. The question, which team will break? A quick pass to Yakushev at center ice. To Addison on the right. Going in back to the net. Failed to center it. Henderson returns with Ellis over on the right side, and Shadron broke it up. The pass by Lapointe was knocked down by Shadron over to Addison. A long drive is wide of the Canadian goal. Forward pass to Henderson. His relay was intercepted, and the Soviet Yakushev failed to get the pass. It goes back to Lyapkin, and the two teams seem to be taking a breather at the moment. Vasiliev, number 6, goes back in front of his own goal, played one off Yakushev's skate. He carries down on the right side, weaving a bit, pass to Addison, and the shot was caught by Dryden. It was off the target, and another change of players at 10:05 of the second period.
Well, this 10 minutes in this period could well be the best hockey in this series so far. It's been wide open. Both teams have gone back and forth, and both the goaltenders have been called upon to make some great saves.
Lining up now with Mishikov over there on the left wing. There's Harry Sinden keeping a close lookout on things. and there's plenty happening. The Canadians break out with Dennis Hull trying to get a long forward pass. Zagankov failed to clear. Mishakov goes back to his own net, number 12 for the Soviets. Moves to the blue line at center. Stopped, and Bill White laid one over to Dennis Hull, who took a long shot, and Tretjak deflected that slap shot right into the crowd.
Harlamov, number 17, has taken his turn again out on the ice, but Foster, there's no way he's right. He's favoring one of his legs, and he's not going at 100% tonight.
Ready for the face-off in the Soviet zone. Rattel got the draw. Gilbert turns, waits, stands there, still backing up, takes a shot, is right in front of the score! Bill White deflected it into the net. Bill White from, and the score is all tied up. White from Gilbert to tie the score for Canada.
You won't see a more beautiful scoring play in hockey than this play by Bill White, set up perfectly by Rod Gilbert. Gilbert gives him the absolute perfect tip in, and Bill White, mind you, is a defenseman, walks right in when he sees the opportunity and tips it into the net. An absolutely beautiful scoring play by Canada.
White was standing right on the edge of the goal crease when Gilbert had jockeyed that puck into a position, passed in front of the net, and White tipped it in to give Canada a 3-3 tie at 10:32 of the second period. The puck is in play again. Canada on the move. Gilbert coming in again. Here's a chance. A shot by Rattel went wide. Gilbert fired one across the goal mouth. And Canada has the Soviet on the run here right in front of the net. A scramble. And Tretjak is down, hanging on for dear life as they were pouring in on him.
Canada's putting on tremendous pressure here, having just scored. And Rod Gilbert, if he just had been able to control the puck a little better, would have had another goal.
Ready for the face-off in the Soviet zone, and that's where it remains. Now they finally get it out on that left wing at center. They shoot it in this time. It's into the corner for Gilbert, number 8 for Canada. A flip pass. Rattel cuts back to Gilbert, over to Peter Mahovlich. Peter Mahovlich crosses the Soviet line, fired one, and missed the net. Then Pat Stapleton went in and was unable to get the roller. Gusev back to the Soviet goal. Frank Mahovlich steps on the ice. And Kardwaye coming in on the wing, passes back to Rattel. Rattel is checked. A two-man break for the Soviet. One man back. Here they're closing in. Mihailov shoots. And Dryden came up with a dazzling save on Mihailov, who was in there alone, and Dryden fell and covered up.
Spectacular save by Dryden here. Dryden has to keep his eye on both players coming down on him. The pass is slipped off to Mihailov. He lets a blistering shot go, and Dryden lunges across the net and takes it up in the upper body. A spectacular save by Ken Dryden.
8:21 left in the second period. Canada and the Soviets are tied 3-3. 8:21 left in the second period, and you hear that Canadian crowd really whooping it up. Canada carrying the play at this stage. In the roll right in front of the net. They score! Yakishev was right in front of the net. And there's that deadly shot again from close in to give the Soviet a 4-3 lead.
Yakishev has to be the Soviets' most dangerous player. He's parked right at the top of the goal crease. He's got Dryden at his mercy. He gives him a little fake and then flips it right along the ice. A beautiful goal by Yakishev.
Got that one from Shadron. He was right in front of the net after the face-off. And that goal was 11:43. Yakishev from Shadron. And now the Soviets take that lead again. Anderson's roller is covered by Dryden. And the Canadian team, up until then, had a clear-cut margin in the last 5 minutes of play. And then that one break on a face-off right around the Canadian goal.
Foster, in that first game in Canada, Harlamov was so impressive, but I have to believe now that Alexander Yakushev has to be the best hockey player on this Soviet team. He's a big, rangy left winger. He can skate, he can shoot, and he can handle that puck beautifully. And of course, he's the top scorer in this series.
His face-off will be to the left of Dryden, Shadron, Anderson, and Yakushev the line. The puck goes over to Ellis. 3 times the Canadian team have tied this score. Now the Soviets have taken the lead again, 4-3. But they're really in there fighting, and they're just about even on the play. The puck goes into the corner. The Soviets trying to center back. Vasiliev shot one that hit Savard on the back. Ellis into the corner, shoots it back to Savard. It's over onto the right wing. Canada on the attack at center ice, led by Clark. Over on the right wing, a shot by Ellis was knocked down. Soviets try a 2-man break, and Henderson broke it up. Savard going back to get it. Soviet changing on the go. Here's a long pass over to Ellis. It slides to Petrov, and Petrov shot one at his own man, and Tretьяк nearly had a heart attack there as he had to stop that one from his own player. 6:59 left in the second period. Of 3 for the Soviets. Soviets 4, Canada 3. And it's just that kind of a game. 7 goals scored in about a period and a third.
It's interesting to observe in this whole series, there's only been one score that has been relatively low. The rest of the scores have all gone up, and of course, the explanation for that is that we have the top goal scorers from the National Hockey League representing Team Canada, and of course we know that almost any player on the Soviet team can score goals, and all of these games have seen a lot of goals go behind each goaltender.
There's no question, though, the best man on the ice so far in this game has been Yakushev. From the face-off, the puck rolls off to the side, a lob pass to Mihailov, ahead at center ice. Petrov fired one, Dryden stopped it, but that rebound keeps coming out in front. Bill Esposito carrying back now with Frank Mahovlich on the left wing. Cournoyer in possession. Here's his shot. Tretьяк had it bounce off the screen, grabbed it, and it's very confusing to the goalkeeper as that puck hits that netting, and it just bounces back about 20 feet and generally ends up in front of the net. Dryden was fooled on one of those rebounds off the screen. 4-3 for the Soviets. 6:36 left in the period. Canada in possession. Puck goes back to Cournoyer. He failed to tip it in front. Gusev for the Soviet in the corner. Lobbed one at center ice. A 2-man break, but they got back in time to cover up on that play. Savard was able to get back there and get that puck between his knees as Lapointe was covering in front of the net, but it was a 2-man break for the Soviets.
What we saw Serge Savard do there is all important for any defenseman when a man comes down on you 1-on-1. He played the man, not the puck. He took the player right out of the play. The puck went in between his feet. He eventually fell down and smothered it, but he played the man all the way.
From the face-off, the puck goes to the blue line, but not out. Bill Esposito going with a pass behind the net. Bill White failed to get out on his pass. Mahovlich is forced into the corner, shooting it over to Bill White. Bill White across to Stapleton, ahead to Mahovlich, and the puck got away from him. Soviet return fast. Blinov. Here's Petrov coming in to Blinov at one side of the net, and that slider went wide. The Soviets get it again. Blinov over on the far wing. Here's a fake shot to Blinov in front of the net. He tipped it and rolled in front of the goal. And Dryden was away out of the net. And that was saved by Phil Esposito, who slid in front of the net to cover that loose puck. Blinov had a great chance.
Dryden was beaten cleanly here. He was pulled right out of the net by Blinov. Blinov went to tuck it in the corner, and Phil Esposito steals it right off his stick and prevents a goal against Canada. A great defensive effort by Phil Esposito.
From the face-off, the Soviets get that draw again. Sagankov from the corner centered it. Stapleton shot it out. And it's going down, but it won't be called. Luchenko, number 3 for the Soviet, turning with Mishakov on the left. Here's a shot right off the bat as Canada intercepted. Gilbert had a drive that missed. Down the right wing for Maltsev. He goes into the corners, knocked down. Stapleton is going to get a penalty. I'll bet they call it interference. And likely be a cross-check. With the score, the Soviets 4, Canada 3. This is game 8 from Moscow. Stapleton off for cross-checking. That's one of the few times he hasn't called it interference. Time is 14:58. Second period. Soviets leading. Sagankov lobbed a pass in front. Dryden knocked it to the wing. Maltsev comes from the corner. Shot right across the goal mouth. And it hit the side there. Dryden had his leg right in the right spot for it. It's Sagankov clearing. They have the odd man. A bad pass goes back to center ice. Soviet having the odd man advantage. Harlamov, who's working under wraps in this game, gets over on that left wing. Maltsev comes over the line. There's the pass to Harlamov. The pass went right across the goal mouth. Sagankov into the corner. Shot one in front. Bill White broke it up. Peter Mahovlich carries back at center ice. Shot it back to Bill White. Bill White lobbed it down the ice. And Phil Esposito is stepping out to replace Clark. He's out there with Peter Mahovlich killing off the penalty. Maltsev at center. Showed a burst of speed. Keeps on going. Was thrown off stride. Mahovlich shoots it down the ice. And he's replaced by Ellis. And they replace players in this game when they're about 25 feet away from the penalty from the bench. The referee is going to catch somebody one of these times. A long pass on the right side. Mihailov was slugged there by Bergman. Yakushev goes back to the blue line, trying to draw his man away. Yakushev still has it on that far side. Passes back on the boards. There's that tic-tac-toe passing play. Vasiliev is going to take a shot. There'll be another penalty on the play. They simply score. Jadron deflected it into the net. Jadron deflected that one into the net.
Vasiliev, number 6, has Triton at his mercy, and all the time Jadron is walking right in towards the post and takes the tip in and buries the shot for a very, very important goal in this game.
With the score, the Soviets 5, Canada 3. This is game 8 from Moscow. An argument back there. There was going to be a Canadian penalty handed out, but because the Soviets scored, the penalty, of course, will not be called. The crowd are getting a bit upset about that, but that's the rule. The referees, though, don't seem to be too sure because they were going to put a Canadian player off regardless. Now the argument starts down here now as to what's going to happen. 3:16 is left in the second period. The Soviets have taken a 2-goal lead. The first time a team has had a 2-goal lead in the game tonight. On the Canadian scoring play at 10:32 of the second period, scored by White, Gilbert and Rattel were given assists. Rattel was added. From the face-off, the puck goes into the Soviet zone. Soviets leading 5-3 with 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining with Frank Mahovlich shooting it wide of the net. Gusev shot one ahead. Blinoff deflected it into the crowd. And the face-off is going to be to the left of Tretjak.
Coming up in our second period intermission, I'll comment on a feature called the Moscow that was. Pat will get some comments from Punch Imlach as well as Bobby Orr, and Howie Meeker will review the highlights.
From the face-off, it's kept in there. Lapointe had a shot that was blocked to the defense. Another two-man break. Mihailov coming in. Pass back to Petrov. And a great save there on a three-way passing play. Back comes Canada at center. Out over the line. And they're being outplayed at this stage by the Soviets. It's a cleared pass off a skate. Comes in over the line. Kuskin is blocked by Cornwallis with Phil Esposito helping out. Gusev had a pass blocked by Cornwallis coming in on that side. He tried to dig it out for Phil Esposito. And then Mahavlich shot one wide from the other side. Savard into the corner. Trying to dig it out. Here's Cornwallis coming in with a shot. It went loose. Another chance. It's going to be a penalty call here now. With a score, the Soviets 5, Canada 3. This is game 8 from Moscow. Kuskin is going in the penalty box for the Soviets for elbowing at 18:06. So the Canadian team, for one of the few times, will have the odd man advantage. Soviets leading 5-3. And Shadrin has had 2 goals for the Soviets, and so has Yakushev. Puck is taken back into the Canadian zone park. Let's Esposito pick it up. Esposito 7. Esposito at the blue line. They're moving up slowly at center. Over on the wing to Henderson. Out there with Ellis on the right. Puck goes back to the net. Henderson trying to dig it out. Lutsenko covered him, but Park gets it back to the blue line. Stapleton to Park. Park stands there trying to draw his check. Back to Stapleton at the blue line. Over to Esposito, and it deflected off his stick and went into the crowd. 1:16 left in the second period. 5-3 for the Soviets with 1:22 left in the Soviet penalty.
What Canada hasn't been able to do when they have had the extra man advantage is establish good puck control with their power play in the offensive zone.
Ready for the face-off. It comes back at center ice. Pat Stapleton, number 3, at center. Shot one into the corner. Ellis after it. It bounced off the boards. Vasiliev failed to clear. A fake shot goes into the corner. Ellis trying to dig it out to Phil Esposito in front of the net. And Esposito deflected one wide. Henderson back to Stapleton. Over on the wing. Here's the shot. Wide of the net. The Soviet really under pressure. And Henderson fell. Now Vasiliev is covered by Henderson in the corner. Shadrin goes in to help. And the play is stopped with 39 seconds remaining in the period. And Henderson really like a lightning bolt going in that corner to cover his man 2 or 3 times. A change of players.
Just a reminder to hockey fans at home viewing these games, you can participate in voting for the most valuable player on Team Canada by sending the name of your choice to Box 5050 in Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver. The winner, as selected by the fans, will receive the Labatt Best on Ice Award. Ballots are available from any Labatt representative.
Esposito, Cornwallis, and Mahavlich out there for Canada. The puck goes around back of the net. Liapkin shoots it off the boards. Petrov went after it. Goes right down the ice with Lapointe going into the corner for Canada. Mahavlich is cutting in front of him, picking off the pass down the right boards. Still going. Coming in on the right side. Back of the net was checked. It hit the screening. Mahavlich in the opposite corner gets it out to Esposito. His shot hit the Soviet player. He gets it again. He's carried in on the side by Lutsenko, and the Soviets shoot it down, and the period is over. With the score, the Soviets 5, Canada 3. This is game 8 from Moscow. Two teams back on the ice for the start of the third and last period, and of course the score, the Soviets 5, Canada 3. It was 2-2 at the end of the first period. Yakushev and Luchenko scoring for the Soviets. Phil Esposito and Park for Canada. Canada outshot the Soviets 14-12. In the second period, Shadron scored first in 21 seconds. Then Bill White tied it up for Canada from Gilbert and Rattel. Yakushev put the one up again from Shadron at 11:43. And then Shadron from Vasiliev gave the Soviets a 2-goal advantage at 16:44. And that's the way the period ended, with the Soviets leading Canada 5-3. Only 2 penalties in that second period. 1 to Canada, 1 to the Soviets, and the Soviets outshot Canada 10-8.
Well, Foster, I think when Pat Marsden said that it was 5-3 for Canada, he was really expressing the sentiments of all of us. I think that Team Canada can get back in this game, in this period, and maybe before it's over, Canada will be ahead.
All ready now for the face-off, with the Soviets to the right, Canada to the left. Ellis takes a long shot at Tretjak right off the bat. He's out of the goal crease, was down on his knees. Gusev was there to protect him, and the face-off is going to be to the left of the Soviet goal.
I think in this period you'll probably see Tretjak smother the puck as often as possible. He doesn't want to take any chances that he might lose it and that Team Canada will get good possession at his end. So I think we can look forward to seeing him smothering the puck at almost any opportunity. He's quite confident that if they have to take a face-off in their end, that his players and his defense especially can get the puck out without any trouble.
And getting ready now for the face-off. Henderson was clipped over the eye and was patched up there on the bench. The Canadian team playing every man up. Is the third and last period, divided into 2 10-minute periods. Yakushev breaks out at center, a great speed, gets it over the wing, the shot, and Dryden went down low to cover on Anderson's shot. But that Yakushev certainly is a speedster. He outstepped everybody there, laid over the pass to Anderson, and the face-off will be to the left of Dryden.
Dryden has to make a tremendous save here because, again, he has to keep his eye on 2 players.
Cleared out to Ellis at center ice. Ellis going over the line. Couldn't get a shot on goal. Mahavlich was cruising in back of the net. There's a dump there to Vasiliev, who went flying on a check. Here's a quick shot by Anderson, away wide of the net. Vasiliev keeping it in the blue line to the corner. Another pass in front to Anderson. Anderson holds his ground. 2 Canadians went down. Here's a shot by Vasiliev. It's wide and missed the net. Quick pass to Mahavlich. Frank Mahavlich passed back to the point. He shot it over the line in back of the net. And the Soviets recover with Cornwallis mixing it up back of the net. It's up to center ice, over to Mihailov. Bill White stopped his pass, cleared to Phil Esposito, and is grabbed off again by Yakushev, passing to Petrov, who couldn't get up in time to get a shot. They move into the corner. The puck is deflected by Cornwallis. Petrov getting it again, made the pass, and Canada recovered. Pass by Peter Mahavlich. A slider goes to Tretjak, and he way out in front of the goal crease, went down on his knees, and covered on the play.
Again, Tretjak not giving Team Canada any chance on any possible rebound, or not giving them chance to gain control of the puck in the corners, smothers it, and sets up another face-off.
Puck goes into the corner from the face-off. Soviets leading 5-3. Shadron got that pass up to Gusev. Gusev 2 at center, over to Mihailov. Mihailov made the pass, intercepted by Cornwallis to Phil Esposito, who failed to get away, and the shot was wide. Klinov is forced into the opposite corner. Mahavlich blocked him. Puck goes back of the net. Bill White to Stapleton. Stapleton cleared ahead to Peter Mahavlich. Banged off a skate. Now he clears it on the wing. Cornwallis to Peter Mahavlich, coming down the right wing. Keeps on going into the corner. Is bumped back of the net. Centered in front. Here's the Esposito. Esposito! Esposito scored for Canada.
and he just drills the second one right between Tretьяк's legs. And Phil Esposito is the big man again.
2:27.
Peter Mahovlich does a lot of work in the corner here. He sets it up. Now Esposito has to bang it once and then again. And he gets Tretьяк right off guard.
From the face-off, the puck is cleared into the Soviet zone. Soviets leading 5-4, and Canada trying to make a real comeback here. Phil Esposito from Peter Mahovlich. 2:27 was the time. Now the Soviets get a two-man break, and Maltsev overskated the puck. Maltsev 10 at center ice. Over onto the far wing. Mishakov's drive is high and wide. Gilbert into the corner. A quick pass to the blue line. Dennis Hull. A pass to Gilbert on the right. He faked the shot. Goes into the corner. Centered one. It goes off Maltsev's stick over onto the far side. Stapleton broke up the play. Zagankov back in his own zone. Shot it on the boards. Nikolov going up on the left wing. A shot. Dryden kicked it out. A rebound. And it's Rattel knocking it to the side. Soviet recover again. Passing back to the blue line. Zagankov shot. Dryden stopped it. And then covered up on the loose puck on the side of the net. 16-19 left in the third. Here's a fight in front of the Canadian goal. It's Gilbert struggling with the Soviet player, Mishakov. Now then, Gilbert swings at him. Mishakov goes back at him, and the two of them go down again. This is the first fight in the game, and you can feel the tension almost everywhere as the players loop around. And the Soviet fans are usually whistling, you hear that. But the referee is in the middle of the pack, and no player really did anything on it.
Well, we know one thing for sure, Foster, that Rod Gilbert definitely got a good punch in because Mishakov has a bloody nose there, and there's no question that Gilbert dinged him a good one.
With the score, the Soviets 5, Canada 4. This is game 8 from Moscow.
12 номер советская сборная.
Gilbert and Mishakov off together. Mishakov is in the penalty box now. Gilbert, number 8, is going into the bench. He's saying something both to the referee and to Mishakov, but they're talking back to one another, but they really need an interpreter.
This is an interesting call here because it was my understanding that if you did fight in international hockey, you not only got the 5-minute penalty, but you were kicked out of the game. So it appears that there's been some liberalization of that rule for this series because they're both getting major penalties, but it doesn't appear that either one of them is going to have to leave the game.
Well, you're getting quite a weird interpretation of the rules almost every time because when a man is put out of the game, he generally gets a 10-minute penalty. But that didn't happen in Parisi's case. Now we have a situation where generally if it's a fight, you're thrown out for the game and that's it. But they're both in here and they both have major penalties. 5 minutes each. 16-19 left in the game as the puck comes back to Lyapkin. They're 5 aside. The shot is wide. Vasiliev keeps it in there. Shadron from the corner, coming from the side, took a shot, and Dryden covered up as he slid to one side. Bergman failed to get out. Here's Yakushev getting that puck back to Lyapkin. Lyapkin shoots away wide of the net, but Yakushev goes right over to get it. Finally, Bergman played it out over the line. Clark and Henderson are trying to kill off the penalty for Canada. Now Clark steals the puck. He's jumped by Vasiliev. Vasiliev will get a penalty there for tripping. And for the first time in the game, the Soviets will play 2 men short to Canada's 1.
An interesting call there, Foster, because Vasiliev hit Bobby Clark with a tremendous hip check. Now he ends up getting a tripping penalty, but they were very upset at the call.
4:27 is the time of the penalty to Vasilia for tripping. And the Soviets will have 2 men in the penalty box. Canada won 16:33 or 15:33 left in the game. Of course, we'll have a break at 10 minutes and change ends, which is normal in international rules. From the face-off, Lutsenko carries into the corner. Henderson and Phil Esposito had him covered. They'll face off again in the Soviet zone. Canada playing every man up. The puck goes rolling off to the side. Zagankov shot it around on the left boards. He's covered there by Park, and there was no further play. The score, Soviets 5, Canada 4, and Canada threatening to tie it up.
Canada is trying to establish that all-important puck control here with that extra man. The Soviets only having 3 men to cover that large ice surface. If they can get good control, then they can start to move it around and get that scoring chance they need to tie this game up.
Petrov is the lone player for the Soviet, the forward. Park gets back quickly. Made a bad pass there, which is recovered by Lapointe. And Lapointe is now turning, coming up over the line. Canada with 5 men attacking 4. They have that odd man as Park goes into the corner. A bad pass. The Soviets break out with Petrov coming down on the left side. Getting in fast, and shot went wide. And that was close. Zagankov keeps it in. Goes back to the Canadian goal. Quick pass to Phil Esposito, who failed to get very far. Park played it over at center ice. 3-man drive over the line. Henderson's pass is knocked down, kicked out, and Park has to wait for Lapointe to get onside. Lapointe ahead to Esposito, going in on the left wing. Played it back to the blue line. Over to Park. Park stands there. He shoots one wide. Henderson from the corner is checked by Zagankov, who covered up in the corner. And the face-off will be to the left of the Soviet goal. And as Bergman goes over to check on the Canadian penalty.
Canadian professional football will return to television Saturday, September the 30th, as the Toronto Argonauts host the Edmonton Eskimos. Then on Sunday, October the 1st, 2 games. In the East, Hamilton is at Ottawa, while Saskatchewan is at Calgary in the West. Check your local listings for times and stations.
14:04 left in the third period. That means 4 minutes and 4 seconds before they change ends on the 10-minute break. From the face-off, Cornwallier nearly got a chance there. He gets that puck again back to the blue line. Phil Esposito passed in front of the net. Cornwallier missed the pass that didn't arrive, and Phil Esposito lobbed one wide. In the right front of it, he shoots! Oh, what a chance Rattel had right in front of the net. And the Soviets shoot it down the ice. Rattel had the tying goal in his mitt there and was over-anxious on the play. Phil Esposito carrying up now, lobbed it over the line. They're closing in. Lapointe passed it. The Soviets have 1 man back, so they're even on sides, 5 aside. Each one has a man in the penalty box. And they're staggering us there. They've given so much.
Foster, I just about jumped out of the broadcast booth on that. I thought that Joe Rattel had him cold turkey. I didn't see how he could miss, and he drilled the shot wide. I couldn't believe it.
Both teams changing. Soviets leading 5-4, 13:26. There's Jean Rattel that had that tying goal practically in his mitt, but he was over-anxious. A roller comes back. Here's a shot by Dennis Ho that hit Shadron. It caromed off him and caught Liapkin as he went down low.
I might also add that we'll be going to Prague, Czechoslovakia, where Team Canada will play the Czech national team this Saturday afternoon. Also check your local listings for the time and station.
From the face-off, the Soviets get that puck at Shadron at center ice to Yakushev. He's the dangerous man. The puck rolls at the defense. Canada carrying it back with a long pass over to Dennis Hull. He's going on into the corner. Vasiliev beat him to the puck. Dennis Hull grabbed at him. The puck is back to the net, and it's Yakushev down the left wing. Laid over a pass to Shadron. He's partially stopped. He goes in on the boards and covered with Bill White playing it over on the far side to Stapleton, who's working under handicap with a bad ankle. A long shot went over the net, bounced in front. They whacked at it. Shadron taking it to the corner. Shadron lost it to Bill White in front of the net, and White failed to get a shot away when Vasiliev shoved him off and took him off balance. On this right wing, Ellis is trying to go in on the right side with Clark. Shadron goes into the corner. Clark after him. He covered, and so did Ellis. 5-4 for the Soviet. 12:09 left in the game. 50 seconds left in the two penalties.
Foster, I might mention at this point that over the 4 games in Moscow here, many of the Soviet top officials have been in attendance at the game. Of course, we've got Nikolai Portoni, the president of the state, Alexei Kosygin, the prime minister of the USSR, and Leonid Brezhnev, the head of the Communist Party. We have not shown them to you because our cameramen are hesitant to take pictures of them when it is a non-state occasion.
All ready for the face-off in the Soviet zone. Bill White tapped it ahead. The shot was blocked. Clark trying it, going into the corner. Went off stride. Gusev sticks with him. Clark goes back to the net, trying to dig it out. He's still fighting for it. Mihailov is covered by Ellis. And Guskin goes in back to the net. And a forward goes back to the defense. Mihailov, 13 for the Soviet. Over to Kuskin. Bill White intercepted, played it on the left wing to Clark. Mihailov skated him off, goes into the corner for the Soviet. Still Esposito coming out as a replacement to Clark. Soviet played back to their own defense. Now the teams are at full strength. 11:15 left as Mishakov comes down the right side, closing in with, and Petrov took a slice at the puck and missed it. He was uncovered on the play. Kornwaye played it over to Peter Mahavlich. Out there with Phil Esposito. Kornwaye at center. A long shot off the screen at the back of the net. Gusev just covered it against the boards. And the reserves are coming out repeatedly in this last period.
The Soviet team is just checking unbelievably closely right now, and Team Canada is having some difficulty in getting some skating room and some stick handling room to move that puck around to get a good scoring chance.
5-4 for the Soviets. That's Mishakov, number 12. He was in the fight with Gilbert, the only one really of the game, and really in the series. All ready for Phil Esposito at center. The puck is recovered by Esposito. He slashed out of the bag in and around the net. Kornwaye trying to dig it from the side, couldn't. Bergman took a shot that goes back to the net. Here's a mix-up. Esposito was knocked down in front of the goal. Maltsev comes down the left wing, blocked at the defense, but shot anyway. Park taking it into the corner. Park covered his man. Phil Esposito cleared it center to Kornwaye. Kornwaye faked the shot, made a pass too wide for Mahavlich, who goes back to the net. Here he's coming out in front. Goes to the defense to Bergman. Bergman failed to get a shot. He took his man down. And from the side, the Soviet tried to clear out. Here's Maltsev coming down with Mishakov on the left. A shot. Dryden saved on that. And the play is called. with the score, the Soviets 5, Canada 4. This is game 8 from Moscow. From the face-off, the puck goes back at center ice as the beginning of the second 10-minute session here in the last period. They have 10 minutes left before the end of the game. Soviets still leading 5-4. They've changed ends, Canada to the right, the Soviets to the left. The puck is at center ice. Dennis Hull gets it over on the left wing to Lapointe. He's clearing past as Gilbert goes to the corner. It hit a skate, goes back of the net. They grab each other's sticks. Rattel had a hold of Petrov. He had a hold of him, and Blinov goes in front of his own net, skates over onto the right wing to the blue line, took a bump from Dennis Hull. He stopped. Rattel goes in with Dennis Hull, and it's offside on the play. Of course, there's no overtime regardless, whether it's a tie score or not. 8:58 left in the game, 5-4 for the Soviets. The only one goal scored in this third period so far, Phil Esposito from Peter Mahovlich at 2:27. There go the Canadian rooters again. They never stop. And neither does Team Canada. Clark, Ellis, and Henderson out there for Canada. Bill White and Stapleton the defense. Anderson, Shadron, and Yakushev for the Soviets. Stapleton played a pass to Henderson. He shot it onto the boards. Vasiliev goes back to the net. Stopped. Gets that puck loose. Stapleton came up to block it. Stick handles. Couldn't get any farther. And Anderson recovers at center ice. Clark took it from him, goes down the right wing, and fired a shot that was easy. Vasiliev is taken in the boards by Henderson. The Soviets shoot a forward pass that Ellis stopped. Clark at center ice. Still has it. Clark played it over to Henderson, and it's offside on the play with 8:11 left in the game. Soviets leading 5-4.
The Soviets, of course, with that one-goal lead, will now try for puck control. Team Canada will have to get the puck back. They have to get the puck up the ice because they need several good chances before they're going to get that goal.
From the face-off, Clark got the puck back to the Canadian blue line. Stapleton, number 3, you just saw him a moment ago, as the puck goes back to Vasiliev. It's in the Soviet offensive zone. They pass it back and forth. Vasiliev lost it. He failed to clear it out. Ellis, as Gilbert got his shot there. He's out there now. Clearing pass at center ice. And Stapleton lobbed one over the line. They're changing. Phil Esposito is out there with Peter Mahovlich. And Ellis is out there too as the puck goes into the corner. As they go back to the net, Canada covering up to one side of their own goal. The puck is loose. Bill White covered his man against the boards with the help of Ellis, and they'll make further changes, both teams, on this break. Bill White and Stapleton being replaced. Bergman going back out there. You see the Soviet players, they're not too perky as they skate off. Shadron and Yakushev. So the strain has been terrific on the two teams. Bobrov giving them a speech as they come off. Now they're all set now. Mishakov, a setter, knocked the puck back to the Canadian goal. Park is trying to come out on the left side. A long pass to Phil Esposito going in. He shoots! Oh, right in front of the net. Esposito banged that. Here's another shot by Cornwallier. His goal! The Canadian team grabbing each other there as the loose puck went around the net. And Canada tied it finally 5-5.
Esposito makes an incredible individual effort on this goal. I can't say enough. Look at him fight for the puck. He gets it back out in front of the net after having missed it once himself. And I believe it's Ivan Cornwallier who gets the goal. Phil Esposito once. He digs for it now and he keeps fighting. He gets it out. It's shot, and Cornwallis puts the backhander into the goal. Now we see a fight breaking out along the boards.
A mix-up on the far side. The Canadian team are mixing it up with the spectators, and I believe Alan Eagleson is in on it over there as far as we can tell. And the Canadian team are all over there. When that rumpus started, whatever it was, nobody knows. But Canada tied that score at 12:56, and it appeared to be Cornwallis who got the goal. There's a wild scramble around the Soviet net. Apparently, the police were trying to throw Eagleson out, and that's when the reserves from the Canadian team came over there to help out. So that scoring play will likely be Cornwallis from Esposito. Cornwallis seemed to be the hero of it as a wild scramble around the net. It'll be between Esposito and Cornwallis as they both whacked at the puck before they finally knocked it past Tretьяка, and they have 7 minutes and 4 seconds left in the game of 5 all time.
What a great effort by Phil Esposito. I have never seen Esposito play this type of hockey. I have to believe that Esposito is playing the greatest hockey of his career so far.
With the score, Canada 5 and the Soviets 5. This is game 8 from Moscow. The goal was given to Cornwallis from Esposito and Clark. A wild scramble around the net. Cornwallis getting the goal, Esposito and Clark assisting at 12:56. But there was heavy traffic around that Soviet goal before Cornwallis was able to poke it home after Phil Esposito had a chance, and so had Clark. But it was a great effort, a real team effort all the way, and now Canada moved up into a tie with the Soviets, a 5-5 tie. And the Canadian players are buoyed up terrifically by that 5th goal for Canada. They claim now that Park will likely get an assist as well as Esposito instead of Clark. But it was that kind of a goal that everyone seemed to be in it. So it's Cornwallis from Esposito and Park. The puck is in the Soviet zone and slides out to Savard, who comes back on that far wing, shooting it wide of the Soviet goal. It's lobbed, and Henderson broke it up, only to have Liapkin try to get it out. He's helped by Vasiliev, who goes down the right side. Vasiliev going in back of the net. Lapointe had him covered, but the pass goes to the corner again. Vasiliev shot it back to Anderson, who centered it out. Yakushev comes in with a backhand wide. Anderson shot one. It's deflected. Tapped over onto the wing. Henderson breaks out on the right wing, going in with a shot. And it bounced off Tretьяк's glove. Another shot goes wide. Vasiliev shoots it back to the net, right in front of the goal. Here's Ellis, and he couldn't control the puck. Ellis has it in the corner. Back, and Lapointe cleared it back to center ice. A loose puck goes to Yakushev. One man back as Lapointe is back. Here's a shot. And the drive went over the top of the net. Canada failed to get that puck out. Mihailov had his shot blocked. Savard clears it over to Rattel. Rattel bringing it out over the line. Ahead to Gilbert. Gilbert failed to get a shot. Mihailov coming back as the race for it. Stapleton got back in time to break it up on a change of players. 5:02 left in the game. A 5-all tie. Stapleton lobbed one into the Soviet zone. It's off the boards. Rattel shot it wide. Soviet trying to get out on the right side. Clearing up at center ice. Rattel over the line, 4:42 left in the game, and the Soviets arguing about the call. At the same time, Dennis Hull is going into the penalty box. Petrov is going to follow. Dennis Hull and Petrov going off together, so they'll play 5-a-side. 15:24 is the time of the double penalty. It's a tie score, 5-all. 4:36 left in the game.
Number 16, USSR, 2-minute penalty for elbowing.
High sticking to Dennis Hull and elbowing to Petrov. Now Sagankov feeds the pass. Soviet player stopped by Bergman. Park going back to get it with Cornwallis on the right side. Cornwallis got the tying goal from Esposito and Park at 12:56. Puck is in the Soviet zone. They're bringing it out. A long pass. Bounded off into the corner, and it's offside as Sagankov was coming in on the right wing. His teammate was about 25 feet offside in front of the Canadian goal. Peter Mahovlich coming out on the forward line with Bill Esposito. Cornwallis is going to get a rest. Bergman and Park, the Canadian defense. Yakushev is on that left wing. Shadron at center. They're 5-a-side. 4:10 left in the game. A 5-all tie. And the two teams are at the breaking point. They've given just about everything. Park goes in back of the net. Stands there, starts to make his move. Coming up now at the blue line to Esposito, had to kick it back, and he turns again. Esposito to center ice, going in on the defense, failed to get a shot. It rolls over on the wing. Here's a shot wide by Peter Mahovlich. A roller on the right wing. Shadron clearing it into the corner to Lachenko. Lachenko shoots it out off the boards. Bergman coming down, beats the Soviet player. Then Yakushev in the center ice area to Sagankov. Intercepted by Peter Mahovlich. Skates over on the left wing. He's going in on a dangerous rush, but failed to get through. Brought back by Sagankov on the right wing. Over the line, a drop pass for Shadron. Across at the blue line, a long shot. Bounced off the player. Park carries it out at center ice. Over the line, Bergman right in. And his shot was stopped by Tretjak. A clearing pass over on the left side to center ice. 2:51 left in the game. The Soviet player Yakushev tried to hurdle in and was dumped on the play. The point covers up in the corner, and the face-off is going to be to the right of the Canadian goal. A 5-all tie. 2:41 remaining in the game.
A great check here. You see Alexander Yakushev. He stumped very cleanly by two Canadian players, but look at how quickly he got back up on his feet.
5 seconds left in the double penalty as they line up in the Canadian zone. Canada gets the draw. Now they start to make the move. Savard laid over the pass to Ellis and shot right back to Lapointe. Lapointe played it off the boards to Henderson, and it was offside. They're still changing. Petrov is out there now. The teams are in full strength. Petrov at center ice. Glinov on the left wing. Mihailov on the right. Gusev and Kuskin, the defense, playing up. Standing out Clark, Ellis, and Henderson. 2:26 left in the game, a 5-all tie. Mihailoff and Henderson were too close to the face-off. Now they drop the puck. It goes loose, back to the blue line. Kuskin shot. Dryden stopped it even though it wasn't on the net. Savard played it over on the wing to Ellis. He failed to get out. Savard shot it out the second time. Soviet bring it in. Petrov back to the blue line. He's checked. Henderson carries out with Ellis the bad pass. The Soviet coming in. Mihailoff is forced into the corner, centered it. Savard blocking it. Pulled away from Blinov, but didn't get the puck out. Mihailoff from the side. Cleared it out. Here's a shot. Dryden had it bounce off his arm. And Mihailoff and Ellis are doing a little threatening on the side. 1:48 left in the game. A 5-all tie. You see Clark there, 28. Blinov is to one side.
Dryden's called upon here to make a big save. Even though he stops the puck, it bounces very high. He loses sight of it, but it's well out of range of the net.
They're still taking a lot of time now in making player changes. They're a tired bunch, and they have a right to be. Both teams have given everything, and it's been one of the best games I think I've ever seen. A 5-all tie, 1:48 left in the game. This is the 8th and final game of the series. They're still all tied up. The Canadian team have made 2 or 3 changes here before they finally send out Cornwallier on the right wing, Phil Esposito, and Peter Mahovlich. Shadron is at center ice. Maltsev on the right wing as they get ready for a very important face-off. Canada gets the draw. Peter Mahovlich skates up, clears it over to Cornwallier. It's way offside on the play, but it was worth the chance. So the puck comes right back to the face-off in the same spot.
Both teams seem prepared to put one man well up and try for that breakaway pass that might just break the game wide open. But Team Canada has to be very careful that they don't get trapped with that man breaking, because the next goal will be the key one.
Canadian team went into a huddle there, which seemed to be a little unusual. So they're really fighting. The puck comes up at center ice. Vasiliev carries it back into his zone to Shadron, who missed it. Peter Mahovlich is at center, driving it into the Soviet zone. Liapkin gets there first. Cornwallier just touched it, that's all. Savard getting it at center ice, clearing it off a skate. It goes into the Canadian zone. Yakushev, a dangerous player, is belted on that play. Cornwallier rolled it out. Vasiliev going back to get it. 1:02 left in the game. Cleared pass on the far side. Liapkin rolled one to Savard. Savard cleared the pass to Stapleton. He cleared to the open wing to Cornwallier. Cornwallier took a shot. The defenseman fell over, Liapkin. And the Cornwallier has it on that wing. Here's a shot. Henderson made a wild stab for it and fell. Here's another shot. Right by the score. Henderson has scored for Canada. Henderson right in front of the net. And the fans of the team are going wild. Henderson right in front of the Soviet goal with 34 seconds left in the game.
An absolute mob scene over Paul Henderson, as there should be, but you can't underrate the effort again of Phil Esposito. He gets the puck, he fights for it, he gets it back in front of the net, but it's Paul Henderson who's parked there. He bangs at it, and he beats Tretjak cleanly with an absolutely fantastic goal, and this crowd is going wild. Here it is again. Now look at Phil Esposito. All hard in here. Now watch him work to set this up. Henderson missing his first chance. Now Esposito fires it back.
4 seconds away from a championship. A long rolling pass goes over the line into the Soviet zone. Houston played it over onto the side. A pass to Mihailov. He drives it into the corner. Bill White going back, shoots it out. It's going down the ice. It's not called for icing. Houston with 12 seconds comes back. 8 seconds at center. A long shot by Gusev. Dryden played it back to the goal. 2 seconds. The game is over. And Canada have won the series. They defeated the Soviets 6-5 in a really hard-fought tussle here. And to show the quality of the Canadian team, they were able to win 3 out of 4 on Moscow ice, which shows the caliber of their power play that came back. Canadian teams redeemed themselves from a very slow start in Canada. When they weren't in shape, they kept getting better and better and better, and they fought like tigers tonight to come right through and defeat the Soviets 6-5 and win the series.
Well, then they're going through the handshaking. Team Canada obviously elated, the Russians dejected, and I must say, Foster, is that both these teams played so well. It's a shame that anybody had to lose, but I can't say enough about Team Canada. It was uphill right from the second they left Canada. In fact, right from the start of the series, because they had to overcome conditioning all along. And I can't say enough for the effort, the total effort by every player on the team. And I don't really think you can single anybody out, although some did play so well, because it was a team effort, and they came back in such a magnificent way, and they won it in a magnificent way as well.
When you have to come from behind a 2-goal lead, as they did, it showed their spirit, their ability, and everything else. So that Canada wins the series with 4 wins, 1 loss, rather 1 tie, and 3 losses. 4 wins, 1 tie, and 3 losses. So that the most redeeming feature of it was that Canada won it on Moscow ice, having won 3 of the 4 games on the road.
And here come the 2 top Canadian players as selected by top Soviet officials. Paul Henderson, of course, with that great winning goal. Brad Park, who played magnificently on defense, but I don't think you can just pick 2 stars. Phil Esposito had to have played one of his greatest games ever if he plays hockey till he's 100. They, of course, are receiving gifts from the Soviet official, Colonel Georgy Mosolov, who is the president of the Soviet Ice Hockey Federation.
Well, with the final score, Canada 6 and the Soviets 5. This is Game 8 from Moscow.